When I was born, the doctors told my mom I would die by the age of 5 and to enjoy the time that they would have with me. If you're new here, hi, I'm Kate, and I have a genetic condition called cystic fibrosis. I was diagnosed officially at 5 months old, but when I was born, they knew what I had but didn't know how to treat it, and rather than those physicians referring me on to somebody who did, they just told my parents that I would die probably before the age of 5 years old and to just enjoy the years that they would have with me. So what is cystic fibrosis? Cystic fibrosis is a genetic condition. So both of my parents have a defective gene. And when that happens, then there's a 25% chance that your children, if you have, each parent has a copy of the defective gene, that a 25% chance that your child will have the full-blown disease. My brother and my sister both are carriers. I'm the one that got lucky and got the full-fledged disease. So cystic fibrosis, basically what it does is it does not allow sodium chloride, which is salt, to pass through cell membrane walls and thin out mucus. So in a normal human, you have a lot of salt that passes through your cells all day, every day to help thin out mucus secretions, make sure everything's flowing and moving the way that it's supposed to. Cystic fibrosis blocks that. So anywhere that there is mucus, which is throughout your entire body, mine is incredibly thick. So it affects my respiratory system, my digestive system, my reproductive system. When I sweat, I literally will have crystals of salt that will form. My sweat is incredibly salty. And I have had multiple hospitalizations. I get exacerbations sometimes where the bacteria love to stick in my lungs because it's incredibly sticky. So it's a good place for it to kind of rest. So I have battled with MRSA, with methicillin-resistant Staphylococcus aureus and Pseudomonas aeruginosa since I was an infant. Now, when I was born, this is obviously pre-internet days. My mom, who had been told she could never have kids, finally had me, her oldest, and was told I would die early on. And so she immediately started doing research. She went to the library, found all the information she could on cystic fibrosis, and was able to find a pulmonary facility about an hour and a half from my hometown, which is where I started going and was eventually diagnosed at officially diagnosed at 5 months old, and started on a treatment regimen. That treatment regimen was essentially taking digestive enzymes, because I can't digest my own food, taking that so I could help start absorbing some nutrients, started a vitamin regimen, and then the respiratory treatments twice a day. So that is back when I was a baby, or when I was a kid. We had the manual percussor, which is a giant stand, and it's a little like vibrating, I don't know how to describe it, but basically pounds. So you hold it and it kind of pounds, and you have to hold it on each lobe of the lung. So you have 2 lungs, you have your upper lobes and your lower lobes. So I would do my parents would do 3 minutes on each lobe. So when I was sitting up, it was the upper lobe, and then I would have to lay down on an incline, and they would do the lower lobes. Now, when I got to college, that was when I got my first vest machine, which was incredible because it's hands-free. I could just buckle myself into what looks like a life jacket, and it shakes me. And so I started doing that. It also cut my treatment times in half. It went from 45-minute treatment to 20-minute treatment, which was absolutely incredible. In November of 2019, I believe it was, that was when Trikafta, this new medication that had been approved by the FDA for cystic fibrosis patients, had been released to the public, and it was for people like me who, there's a Delta 508 genetic variant that's the most common defective gene where the CF lays. Mine, I have 1 copy of Delta 508 from my dad, and then I have a very unique strain, a very unique gene from my mom. So that made it so Kalydeco was one that came out for people who had double Delta 508s. Sorry, I know this is getting kind of scientific. Sorry. But basically, like, there was a Kalydeco that came out that was for people who had 2 copies of that gene. I could not take that because I don't have 2 copies. I have 1, and then I have this kind of unique one. Trikafta is for people like me who have 1 copy of the Delta 508, and then they have kind of a uniquer strain. I started that medication in November of 2019. Today, September 20th of 2024, I no longer have to do treatments. I do still take digestive enzymes because I do notice an increase in stomach pain and just not digesting or absorbing my food correctly. And so I do continue to do that, but I no longer have to do respiratory treatments, and my lung function is staying above 90%, which is absolutely incredible. Another absolutely wonderful thing that Trikafta has done for me is allowed me to be a mom, to become a mom. I have always wanted that, and my husband and I had been trying for about 2.5 years prior to Trikafta. I had an HSG, a hysterosalpingogram, done in January of 2020, and I was pregnant by March of 2020, and I delivered my son in December of 2020, and then got very pregnant very quickly with my daughter. So it has been incredibly life-changing, and my mother, if she had not fought as hard as she did for me, I definitely wouldn't be here, and I totally understand why she did it. Now that I'm a mama myself, I would do absolutely anything for my babies. So I thank her every day. She is my angel and my absolute best friend, and I'm so blessed to have her, and then all of the doctors and healthcare people that have helped me along the way. It is the reason I am in healthcare, because I have been taken care of my entire life by wonderful, incredible people, and I just wanted to give some of them back. So yeah, that's my story today. That's just to kind of get to know me a little bit. And if you guys want to know anything more about cystic fibrosis, like I've said in my pinned video on my profile, there's just doesn't seem to be a lot of awareness around cystic fibrosis on many of these social media apps, and I want to kind of be that outlet for parents who have kiddos with CF, or adults who maybe are feeling a little weary or disheartened in their CF journeys. I want to be here to offer that ray of light, I guess. So yeah, that's a little bit more about me. That's all I got for you. You guys, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments, hit all my buttons, you know the drill. So have a great day. Bye.